This podcast contains explicit content.
Let's begin the show by starting it.
Hardly focused.
This podcast is hardly focused.
Can you repeat the part of the stuff where you said all about the things?
Dissecting the news, one tangent at a time.
Settle back, fire up the color teenies, watch the pictures, and hear the sounds as they fly through the air.
Hi, I'm Wilford Brimley.
You know, when you first find out from your doctor, you got diabetes, it can be mind-boggling. Diabetes.
I'm a diabetic.
Liberty will even give diabetes
Right to your door.
and you'll ask yourself, how in the world am I going to afford all this stuff? Insulin, pills, doctor's visits,
Blood sugar, Medicare.
pills, diabetes.
You are listening to the Acc and Jack Show.
Hello, Acc.
Hello, Jack.
Welcome to Hardly Focused. I guess it's the Acc and Jack show today because it's just Acc and I. This is the 467th episode of our podcast. It's the 2nd of August. Acc joining us from parts unknown.
I have an incredibly nondescript beige background behind me so no one can track my location.
Acc, you still doing the work from home thing?
I am. Our office has absolutely no plans to reopen yet.
Interesting. Yeah, ours too. We've not been given a return date. We've just been told, do this until we tell you otherwise.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we luck out, right? Having jobs where we can pretty much do everything we need to from our comfort of our homes.
Oh, yeah. It's absolutely fantastic. And the fact that we can do this, too, remote as well, and have it sound mostly like we're in the same room.
It's great to be in the future, the year of our Lord, 2013.
You can find our show at hardlyfocused.com. We're also on your favorite podcast app. Just search there for Hardly Focused. We're trying something new today, and I don't know how well this is going to work, but we're on our YouTube channel at Hardly... One day I'll get this right. hardlyfocused.com/YouTube. And we're live streaming at least this segment of the show to our YouTube channel. So let us know how it sounds, how it looks, if you happen to see it. Because I think this goes up immediately. Like once we record it, it immediately becomes available to watch on demand. So enjoy that. Wilford Brimley has passed.
Yeah, you know, it was one of those things where when I saw the news, my first reaction was, oh, he was still alive.
Yeah, mine too.
Good on him for holding out that long. Considering his claim to fame was being ill like 20 years ago.
Best known as the diabetes guy, best known as being on the oatmeal commercials. But he was also an actor too. He did acting things. He was in several well-known movies: Cocoon, The Natural, The Thing, The China Syndrome. And if you're ever having a bad day, look up on YouTube the interview that he did in 2011 with Craig Ferguson on the Late Late Show, because it is just so modest, and you can tell. I think Craig Ferguson had to have flown the guy in from wherever it was he was living, like Wyoming, I think he was in. So he flies him to Los Angeles to be on the show, and it was just a great interview. You can tell Craig really was excited to talk to him and to ask him just bizarre questions. At least once the topic of the mustache came up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those comical things too, where because Wilford Brimley, known for having what I heard on the radio described as a walrus mustache.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only way to describe it.
And it moved. It was almost like out of a cartoon. It moved, but you never saw his mouth, and you never saw his mouth move. You only saw the mustache move.
Yeah, just sort of flapping up and down.
I think he had a couple of acting credits to his name as recently as 2016, maybe 2019, but his appearance on Craig Ferguson's Late Late Show was, I believe, his last television appearance. Otherwise, he kept to himself, being up there in age for the last 50 years, being just perpetually an old man forever.
Exactly. He's been an old man as long as I can remember.
Yeah. One of my favorite things that I've heard is when people point out that when Tom Cruise filmed the most recent Mission Impossible film, he was the same age then, and this was, remember, like 2017, 2018. He was the same age then as Wilford Brimley was in 1985 when Wilford Brimley filmed Cocoon.
Wow.
And Wilford Brimley. Now, granted, my understanding is with Cocoon, Wilford Brimley was actually, of the old people, like the group of old people in the movie, Wilford Brimley was the youngest one. And they actually put him in makeup to look old. But the man, being the youngest one, he was like 49 or maybe 50 at the time, and yet still looked like he did in 2019. Just
he probably had the walrus mustache at age 17.
Probably before that. Probably one of those early bloomers in school. Had a full, like Mo from Calvin and Hobbes, had a full beard by the time he was 6 years old. Never argue with a first grader who shaves.
I've been getting these really like creepy commercials for the General Insurance, where it's like the General as a little CGI baby, and he still has the mustache. And for some reason, those commercials just make me really uncomfortable. I don't like seeing that. A baby with a big bushy white mustache.
Those commercials just in general are terrifying, and it's one step above like a locally produced commercial where they wanted to use CGI, but the budget, they only have so high of a budget. The General is one step above that. The General commercials are one step above public access television.
Like the friggin' Bob-a-pedic, where Bob, his little CGI puppet, still has like a thick head of black hair, despite the fact that he is a balding, gray-haired old man now.
Yep. By the way, I ordered a sectional couch from Bob's, and it's scheduled to show up to my house sometime between the 21st of August and December. So I guess that's a product of the pandemic right now. I guess furniture delivery is and production is a challenge, but that's I guess what I get for ordering from Bob's Discount Furniture.
Mm-hmm.
So the alternative was Ikea, and we all know how Ikea is. So I can only be angry for so long when I'm putting stuff together.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do you have any Ikea stuff at your place, Acc?
I don't think so. We do. My wife is very good at picking out inexpensive yet extremely useful and utilitarian furniture. So like, we'll have like a table that costs $15 and will outlive the apocalypse. It's just
nice. That's actually a really good talent to have, I think, is to be able to search out furniture like that. There's a lot of things that I wish as an adult I knew how to do, and that is one of them.
Yeah.
So I like with Ikea too, if you open up, at least the last time I bought something from Ikea that required any sort of assembly, the instructions on the first page, there's two little like cartoons of a guy trying to put the thing together, and then the second panel is the guy on the phone with a question mark above his head as you just see pieces behind him. Like Ikea,
the
even
perfect barbecue. Why doesn't mine look like that?
like even Ikea knows that their shit is impossible to assemble.
Step 1, try. Step 2, after giving up, contact this number.
I'm surprised give up is not step 1. So Wilford Brimley, while he did have a tremendous acting career, again, best known for diabetes. He was the spokesman for Liberty Testing Supplies, not Liberty Mutual.
I almost feel bad for things like that. It's like, I do think it's all in good fun, good natured, but like, it's the same thing with Rick Astley. It's like, he has an accomplished music career. When he dies, the headline is going to be famed meme singer of Never Gonna Give You Up, Rick Astley has passed away. That's all anyone's gonna talk about.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like, it's fun. We don't mean it to like treat him like shit or anything, but it's sad that that's all he's going to be remembered for.
At least Rick Astley is having fun with it. He realized what it was early on, and he capitalized on it without, and I might be the unpopular opinion here, but he capitalized on it without really selling out. He had fun with it. He didn't see it as a threat to his career. Mm-hmm. He's performed it with like the Foo Fighters. Like the Foo Fighters start playing "Smells Like Teen Spirit," and all of a sudden Rick Astley comes out and starts doing his song, and manages to mesh it perfectly to the beat of "Smells Like Teen Spirit." The fact that the man put out an album within the last couple of years, and it was his first one in a very long time, and he put out the album and it shot to #1. And it was bolstered by his fame thanks to YouTube and thanks to being a meme, but at least it was in all sincerity too. Like the man's having a renaissance, a resurgence. He's in his 50s now. You know, when he took off, he was, I think, like maybe 20 years old. He was very young, and now he's getting that degree of fame again for a completely different reason. But he knew how to capitalize on it. He's not like people who like the I can count the potato girl whose parents threatened to sue the internet.
That's right. I forgot about that. They're gonna call the cyber police.
Yeah, there's a certain way of handling these sorts of things, and just roll with it. Just have fun with it, because that's what people want. So
the other one that saddens me, which insurance group is it that has Dennis Haysbert as a mascot?
Allstate.
Yeah. There's that one commercial where everyone just keeps calling him like the Allstate guy. They're all just like so excited, like, look, it's Allstate guy. It's Allstate guy. That's all he's known for. And every time I watch it, I'm like, Dennis Haysbert is a respected actor. Stop trying to make him just the Allstate guy.
Yeah. He was the president on 24. Everyone thought that he was the CIA director or whoever guides you in the first Splinter Cell game. It was a different voice actor, but it sounded so much like Dennis Haysbert that they got Dennis Haysbert to play that character in the second game. Only in the second game. And then they went back to the original voice actor for all the subsequent games that guy was in. And then there's another actor too, whose name I always forget, but he did like term life insurance commercials, and he would have to introduce himself at the beginning of every single commercial, because if he didn't, people would think it was Dennis Haysbert, and then there would be all this confusion because Dennis Haysbert is already the rep for a reputable insurance company. So Dennis Haysbert too, that commercial angers me so much, because He's a customer. He walks up to the counter to order something, and the guy behind the counter is just like, hold on a second. Wait, I'm busy. And like the fucker's on his phone too.
Yeah.
And Des Hayes was like, oh, okay. All right, I'm sorry. But yeah, I'd be pissed too if they're not even calling him the Allstate guy. They're calling him like, safe drivers save 40% or whatever. They just keep.
There we go. Yeah, I couldn't remember the exact phrase.
Yeah, and then they're doing.
I'm like, imagine the director's notes to Dennis Haysbert. It's like, okay, Dennis, in this scene, everyone's going to acknowledge the only thing you're useful for these days is this one catchphrase of ours.
There's a commercial he's doing right now for Allstate that's like all the insurance companies I feel are parodying one another, and it's stupid. The Allstate commercial is one that takes place in a desert where it's like a buddy cop detective film that's being filmed, and that is them taking a dig at stupid Limu, Emu, and Doug.
Oh yeah.
Geico has the gecko who keeps blowing his lines and laughing, and they keep having to redo takes, all based off the Liberty Bibbity commercial that Liberty Mutual has. The guy, the guy who can't get his lines right. Like it doesn't seem like anyone has an original idea right now. The only people who had an original idea was Liberty Mutual with Limu, Emu, and Doug. And my word, if you ever feel bad about yourself, just remember, you could be the guy who's playing Doug in those commercials. He might be making money, but like, God, that's going to be the only thing that guy is going to be known for. Just constantly pointing out that you only have to pay for what you need.
Mm-hmm.
God, that just irritates me so much. That's probably why Wilford Brimley died, because he got sick of seeing those commercials.
Yeah, I think I'll follow suit pretty soon.
He was Wilford Brimley, known for the Liberty testing supplies commercials, and they started off as honest commercials because the man in the 70s was diagnosed with diabetes, as he calls it, which isn't not necessarily an incorrect pronunciation of the word. It's a dialect thing, but it became a meme because of the way he pronounced it. In the original commercial, it's a very sincere explanation of his condition and why he's an advocate for testing and all those things. But he just keeps saying diabetes, and that's what people rolled with. But I'll tell you this. Wilford Brimley recognized that everyone hung on that, and they loved it, and he went with it.
Mm-hmm.
Case in point, Wilford Brimley's final tweet. Did you see this?
No.
Wilford Brimley had a Twitter account at @RealWilfordB. His final tweet was on July 31st, and these are always sad whenever you see like the last tweet from a celebrity who's passed and it's only within days of them passing. It's like, what was your last thought before you went? And his last tweet, he retweeted something he posted on the 29th saying, "What would my wrestler name be?" And he retweeted that, and he said, popular, I guess these are all responses that he got. Popular choices included Under Quaker, Brimstone, Kilford.
That's a good one.
Kilford Brimley. That's also a good one. And finally, and this is the note you go out on, the diabeetus. The diabeetus. He had fun with it.
Yeah. That's a better last tweet than Herman Cain's.
What was Herman Cain's? Oh, I want to see this now.
It was basically a conspiracy theory about coronavirus not being that bad, and then he died of coronavirus 24 hours later.
Oh dear. Well, I'm like looking at it right now, and clearly other people run his Twitter because it's still actively being updated. But when did he die? Herman Cain? Was it the end of July, right?
2 or 3 days ago? Yeah. Wasn't that long ago.
Because there's a tweet on the 29th, for example, stammering, babbling, inaccurate, and barely coherent. It's classic Pelosi. Hashtag Nancy Pelosi. So, yeah. When I saw Herman Cain, this is just how ignorant I am. I thought Herman Cain was the too damn high guy.
Oh. We have this chicken place near us called Raising Cane's.
Oh my God, I love Raising Cane's.
It's so good, but every time we go by it or discuss or want to decide where to get dinner, and I think of that place, I always call it Herman Cain's.
Well, now I'm going to call it Herman Cain's too. That's great. I love that place though. And if you got a college ID, I believe you get an active college ID anyway. You get a substantial discount from there.
Yeah,
because it's right there next to. Is that BU right there?
Yeah, it's right in the middle of the BU campus.
I always go there. If I go to a show at the Paradise, I always stop at Raising Cane's first. Mm-hmm. So with Wilford Brimley having diabetes, we got a lot of great things out of that and out of the internet. So
thank you for your service, Mr. Brimley.
Here's the first one. The Wilford Brimley diabetes remix.
Something I want you to hear. Diabetes. People with diabetes. People with diabetes. People with diabetes. Diabetes. Well, if you have diabetes. Well, if you have diabetes. Well, if you have diabetes. Diabetes.
And then we got from Family Guy, from one of the first seasons of Family Guy, this is like early Family Guy, their own take on Wilford Brimley's diabetes commercials.
Hi, I'm Wilford Brimley, and I have diabetes. It hurts me to pee, and it causes me to be short with my family. I can't sleep at night. The other day, I stubbed my toe and took it out on the dog. And 2 weeks ago, I ran out of vanilla ice cream and struck my wife. And then I find out my wife's been dead for 6 years. Who the hell did I hit?
This message brought to you by the National Diabetes Association.
I hate to say it, but that was one of the first things I thought of, too.
So there you go. It's Wilford Brimley, 85 years young, and has been for the last 50 years. But passed away due to complications from diabetes, if you believe it. And
I'm shocked.
Among other health issues. The man lived the way he wanted to in Wyoming on a farm.
Yeah, why not?
And he was a music man, too. He blew Craig Ferguson away during that interview. Craig Ferguson gave him the mouth organ, gave him a harmonica, and Wilford Brimley picked the thing up and immediately launched into Oh Susanna.
Wow.
With the greatest of ease. So, quick question for you, Acc. Can you think of an actor or multiple who you thought were old or young, and it turns out they actually weren't?
I don't know about old. I'm often surprised by how young some newer actors are, because I forget how old I am. So, like, I'll be watching a show, and there'll be, like, an adult main character, and I just tend to automatically think anyone who is an adult is, like, 10 years older than me. And then I'll find out they're 10 years younger than me, and just be like, oh, I don't like that at all.
I think I'm kind of of the same mindset. I still look up to people and think that they are... I look at them the same way I did when I was a kid, and I look at teachers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. and it's just totally subconscious. It's not like I'm actively thinking, oh, that person must be in their 40s. I'm just not thinking about age. I'm just thinking, oh, that person is an adult. Ergo, an adult is someone who is older than me.
Yeah, I mean, I look at like myself right now, like I'm literally staring at a live image of myself, and I still think I'm looking at like me from 10 years ago. You look exactly the same. Like I don't look at you and see, you know.
I had this beard back in 6th grade, so.
But so I've been on a bit of a nostalgia kick lately. I can talk. Someone on my Facebook feed posted the yearbook, the 2020 yearbook for our old high school.
Really?
Because it's digital. It's all these things are digitized. Turns out that the town library actually digitized like 50, 60 years worth of yearbooks.
Oh, wow.
Including the 4 years that we were in high school. So I was looking at like the 2021, and there's still a few teachers from our time that are there. But what's more interesting is people that we went to school with work there now as teachers.
Yeah.
And they look old now. Like I'm like, hey, I know that kid. He lived on my street. Wow.
Time was not kind to any of us.
Right. Yeah, even like some of the teachers now just look like, I know it's been over 10 years at this point since we graduated, but even some of our teachers now look that they're still there, just like, you know, old.
Yeah.
They've gotten old. I mean, it's just what it is.
So hard to keep track of how much time passes between events.
Yeah.
Like, the topic of Harambe came up recently, and some people were saying, like, I could have sworn that was last year. And I was like, no, it was 2016. Like, that was 4 years ago that happened. People thought that was, like, no more than 2 years ago max.
I wonder if it's because we were still cracking jokes about it in 2019, right? Like
probably.
Because we had nothing else. Before Corona came around, we had nothing else to really tangible to really focus our efforts on.
And like, my wife and I recently got a subscription to Disney Plus, mostly so we could watch Hamilton, but now we're going through and watching anything that catches our interest while we have the subscription. And yesterday we watched Monsters University. I had never seen that before, and I liked Monsters, Inc. But when booting it up, it said, you know, the year 2013. And my first thought was, that can't be. Monsters, Inc. is the one that's old. Maybe I'm looking at Monsters, Inc. was the year that came out in 2013.
Yeah.
So I looked that up, and that movie came out in 2001.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 20 years almost.
What the fuck? That's not okay.
Well, don't forget Grand Theft Auto 5 came out in 2013, and it's coming out next year on PlayStation 5. So,
oh my god.
Just you know, forgetting how old that game is, for example, just forgetting how old anything is.
Yeah.
For me, it was always Andy Milonakis, and that was sort of his shtick, is that, you know, you think he was a kid, but in reality he's like a 40-year-old male, and he's got a condition that makes him look like a kid. But
yeah,
that's always my first thought. And just
same with the actor Philip Haldeman, who played Denny in The Room.
Oh Jesus.
The character Denny is supposed to be like 15 years old, and he looks like a kid. And if you were to look at pictures of him now, it looks like he's aged 60 years since that movie.
Well, he's like bald now, right?
He was old then. He just looked ridiculously young.
Well, now, serious question. Wasn't he like one of the oldest people on set, next to the old lady who had or did not have breast cancer?
Well, nobody knows Tommy Wiseau's age to this day, so that's hard to pinpoint.
Oh, Jesus. Tommy Wiseau probably doesn't even know how old Tommy Wiseau is.
We need to convert it from human to Tommy years.
What a story, Mark.
Chris R., I've been looking for you.
I will forever maintain that is the best bully name, Chris R.
Chris R.
All right. We got serious talk coming up, so in the next segment, get ready for that. We will return.
And we sing this morning that wonderful and grand old message.
You are listening to Hardly Focused.